Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on Star Wars Clone Wars 2003 TV series review. Now, as you know, the 2003 Star Wars Clone Wars series was a micro series of basically small segments, giving you a glimpse from one chapter to the next, and that chapter to the next. Now, I am only going to be covering Season 1 and 2 so far, given the fact they were more like an arc storyline connected together. Now, as you know, the 2003 Clone Wars TV series was developed and basically created and that by Genndy Tartakovsky, who also made TV shows like Samurai Titans, Primal, Samurai Jack, and also Dexter's Laboratory. Now, I would say with the start of Season 1, we're introduced to how, following the Battle of Geonosis, we see how the Clone Wars have spread across the galaxy. We see how Obi-Wan and Anakin are given the task to take on the Banking Clan's home planet, and we kind of see how Anakin is given command over the Space Forces, much to Obi-Wan and Yoda's dismay. And you can kind of tell this is where I think we see Anakin wanting to prove himself badly. You can kind of tell he wants to go the distance, but can't. And I feel at the same time, what I think the other chapters get right at, each of them have a simple introduction to what you're going to get. I feel when you kind of got, like, one chapter where the clone troopers are going in like a sort of, like, special forces group, they don't say any word. They basically follow their command by moving their fingers, and you can kind of tell this is them basically knowing what they're supposed to do. And they basically go in special forces. And I think, at the same time, what I think the other chapters get right at, it gives you some other filler-like stories. Like with Chapter 5, on the planet Mon Calamari, we see how Kit Fisto and his sort of clone troopers go undersea on an all-out war. We also see in one chapter how Mace Windu goes against a whole army of droids on the planet Doubteri. And we kind of see him how he goes full-on Black Dynamite with the full, droid army. And I think at the same time, they do throw in some other newer characters, like Ventress, who is kind of meant to be someone who claims to be the Sith. And I know in the Dark Horse comics, they do sort of introduce her, and they do kind of try to make her more like a female version of Count Dooku. And I know, unlike the 2008 Clone Wars series, they did have an origin for her in the Dark Horse comics. And I think at the same time, what's an interesting thing is that when Count Dooku gives Ventress her new lightsabers, they originally belonged to Kamali Vosa, who did appear in the Star Wars Bounty Hunter game. And I think at the same time, when the characters go into battle, you really do feel the emotions they go into. They basically go on full-on rage. And I think one thing I do like is how on Yavin 4, when Anakin goes against Ventress, we see Anakin's full-on rage. And when he's basically pinning Ventress down, we see glimpses of Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon Jinn. Now, for me, I see it as more like the people Anakin wants to prove, or feels like they've held him back. And this is a realistic thing, as there are people who hold us back, or don't see our full potential. And I will also say, as well, given the fact with the voice cast, I think the only actor I didn't like was the actor who voiced Anakin, Matt Lucas. Because, one, his Anakin sounds more like someone who has a bit of a cold, comes off as a bit too whiny, and basically feels like he's not really a good voice for him. I think the reason why Matt Lautner worked more in Star Wars The Clone Wars and the film was that his Anakin sounded a bit more older, still had a bit of the old Anakin in him, but was meant to be more like the voice of reason to Ahsoka. And you can kind of tell Anakin did see a lot of himself in Ahsoka. I feel like I can see as well why Disney wanted to discard the 2003 series and still keep the 2008 one, as I feel the 2008 one showed the full potential of what you were going to get, and each story had this sort of Saturday morning cartoon feel. I feel Kokoski's 2003 Clone Wars series was more sort of one story leading up to that one, and a bonus story you would get with that one. And they really do an amazing job connecting that story to that one. I think to me, season 1 and 2 of the 2003 Clone Wars series has a good introduction. It's given you still the episode 2 looks of Anakin and Obi-Wan, and this is before we see Anakin properly going the distance with season 3, which I will try and cover. So to me, this deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.